Hello, friends. This is Lou Redman, meditation artist, life coach, and your friend on the soul journey. Today, I want to talk about 3 life-changing questions that you can use to coach yourself. Tony Robbins says the quality of your life reflects the quality of your questions. But most people ask disempowering questions like, why is this always happening to me? What is wrong with me? Why do things have to be so difficult? The power of the subconscious is that it finds answers to our prompts. So when we ask disempowering questions, we get disempowering answers. Why does this always happen to me? Well, because I knew that there was something wrong with me. I knew that I'm broken. I knew that whatever. That is the answers that we find. Our mind looks for reasons that confirm our victim story. Be cautious of the questions you ask yourself. They are either an empowering or vicious self-fulfilling cycle. The power of good questions is that they enable us to organize our thinking around what we don't know. The power of great questions is that they help us figure out what we don't know we don't know. Powerful questions open the mind to new possibilities, and they offer a way to get out of our normal mode of thinking so that new insights can emerge. Good life coaching is about asking such questions that allow for this type of insight. And so I'm going to give you 3 questions that I use with my clients, and I hope that you can use for yourself. Now, before I get into it, I want to share where these questions work on. So the first is vision coaching. So when I talk about vision coaching, I'm talking about things that help us figure out where do we want to go? What do we want to do? It creates action and forward momentum. The second is mindset coaching. This helps us to shift our narrative, shift ways that we've been limiting ourselves, and create an empowering perspective. Third is depth coaching. So this is moving into more of the emotional and energetic piece. This is how we work to heal from the inside out and clearing way for a deeper self-expression and connection. The first question I'm going to offer is going to be in the realm of vision coaching. And this is one I learned from Tim Ferriss. What would it look like if it were easy? We love making mountains out of molehills. The uncertainty of a new project leads us to procrastinate, and we make the thing bigger than it needs to. Have you ever put off doing something because you thought it was going to take a while, and then when you finally did it, it took like 5 minutes? Here's a secret. Life doesn't always have to be so hard. We make things more complicated than they need to be. Let's say that you want to start a YouTube channel. You might think you need to get a good camera, learn how to do Photoshop, learn how to get the best lights and do public speaking lessons and figure out the best time, figure out the best way to hashtag and do all this research. And then 8 months later, when the time is right, then you'll start. All these things may be helpful, but they have nothing to do with actually starting a YouTube channel. What would it look like if it were easy? You would just pick up your phone, hit record, speak into it, hit stop, upload it to YouTube. Boom. You have your first video. And what you do is on the next video, you get a little bit better. And the next video, you get a little bit better. And you learn as you go. You make updates to it, and that little 1% is going to compound. In entrepreneurship, they have this term that's called minimum viable product, and basically what it means is a company asks, what is the minimum that we can get this out into the market? And they don't do that because they want to make a bad product. It's that they know that people are going to say something. They're going to have feedback. And when they have feedback, they can actually make it a better product. So why waste time trying to figure it all out? Put yourself out there and see what happens. When I first started recording meditations, I would just use a little lavalier mic and I wouldn't even get it edited. Now I have all the fancy software and the mics. You don't need the equipment. You don't need the fancy equipment. Whatever it is you're doing, just start. Marcus Aurelius says you can be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. The number one thing that gets in people's way is not starting. Once they start, there's momentum, energy that takes over. So what are the important things that you're putting off? Ask, what would they look like if it were easy? Number 2, and this is in the realm of mindset coaching. What if the opposite were true? People love arguing for their limitations. They tell you all the reasons why they can't. I'm too old. I don't have the time. It's not the right time. I don't have the qualifications. The excuses are endless. We get so entrained in these negative thought loops that it often helps to invert the thinking to find a new solution. Let's use an example of time, since that seems to be a lot of people's issues. Maybe someone says it's not the right time. I might ask, what if the opposite were true? What if it was the perfect time? Can you find evidence to support that? Then they might look for that evidence. Well, you know what? If I can do it now, then I'll be able to do this at any time, because if I'm busy now, I know that I'm going to be busy later. Or, 6 months from now, I'll look back and say, thank you for starting. In exploring this question, we shift our perspective and open the mind to possibility. Another example is I was at a high school giving a talk recently, and afterwards the person who had me in, she was talking about how she wanted to leave her job at some point and maybe teach public speaking. And I told her, why doesn't she do what I do? And meaning teaching and speaking and running her own business. And her response was, I can never do that. I'm not good at admin. Now, the funny thing is that she thought I was good at admin, which is another subject. But what I might ask her is, well, what if the opposite were true? And her response might be, well, if I was really good at admin, it would mean that I would have looked and figured out a course to take, or I would have hired out in the places where I am not feeling adequate. And so asking this question is important to look for other opportunities and to not get caught up in our reasons for not doing something. For her, instead of admin was a limitation, it now became the path forward. This is that the obstacle is again the way, as Ryan Holiday says. So thinking about this in your life, where are you creating a box of your own making in the narrative, the belief that you're holding? And ask yourself the question, what if the opposite were true? Number 3, and this is in the realm of depth coaching. What if nothing is missing? When I work with clients, I like to ask the question, what is missing? This inquiry may be when an emotion gets stirred, and underneath a strong emotion is often an unmet need. So when I ask what is missing, it helps someone recognize that need and build awareness around it. And what often happens is once they have awareness around it, they realize that actually nothing was ultimately missing. Since I can't go back and forth with you here, I found a question that just cuts right through. What if nothing is missing? And I learned this from Steve March, the founder of Aletheia Coaching. People get into inner work because they feel like there is a lack, like something is missing that they're trying to fix. And a tenet that I hold is that there is nothing to be fixed, that you are whole, perfect, and complete. And our work is to let go of the layers that are keeping us from realizing the wholeness that is already inside. Once you tap into that wholeness, that inner healer can take over for itself, and that starts to unfold and direct your life. So can you let go of the feeling of needing to do, be, or get something? What if nothing is missing? Feel into this question. Let it work on you. If you do so long enough, you'll find that the answers are surprising. Quick recap. To create a plan and take action, ask, what would it look like if it were easy? To shift from a limiting belief, ask, what if the opposite were true? To work through discontentment or distraughtness, ask, what if nothing is missing? I hope you find these questions helpful. I thank you so much for listening. Of course, if you are looking for a coach or wanting to do this type of work, it's the biggest X factor I know that I've experienced in my life. And so if you want to explore that conversation, there's a link below that can show you how. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified of future videos that I release on this channel. I share things like this that show up in coaching and any kind of content that I hope can help you in your journey of transformation. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.